Hi, my name is Melanie Boylan and I'm here today at the Social Media Summit Ireland with Irish Tech News, and I'm now with speaker Chris Flack from UnPlug.
Hi.
You were up this morning.
I was, yes.
So thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us. I just wanted to ask you a few questions about UnPlug first. Tell us about what UnPlug is and does.
So we're a people development company. We help people with high performance and focus in a distracted world.
Very distracted.
Yeah.
And how did you know there was a gap in the market? What kind of market research did you do?
Well, it's evolved for quite a while. So it really came from my own experience. I worked with big tech companies for about 15 years, and at the time I was a big user of technology. I ended up being in a situation where I thought I was being really productive, but I wasn't. Unfortunately, in the long run, my well-being and my productivity suffered, so I actually left that sector and moved across to the not-for-profit sector for a couple of years. Spent some time totally off the grid. I was working in India and other countries off the grid, and it gave me this lovely time to reflect on how I've been using technology, but also how I might be able to help others in their what we would call digital well-being. I then became interested in the science, so the kind of the behaviour change, which shows that we make some small changes in how we use technology. We can have some really positive impacts on our productivity, but also our well-being as far as sleep, relationships, and just start to reduce the noise that we all feel a little bit when we overuse technology.
So you're not actually officially telling people to stop going on social media, you're just trying to teach them to be more productive with the time that they're using.
Exactly, yeah. So we have a team of people, including psychologists and neuroscience experts, and everything we do is very much sustainable, but we actually, as opposed to saying stepping away from technology, we encourage people to use technology more effectively.
Right. Makes a lot more sense.
Exactly, yeah.
So what kind of technology or apps would you use to encourage people to use their time more efficiently?
So I'll mention a couple. The first would be Moment, which really helps you track your usage of technology. So if we think of any change as far as habit, if we have a food change, such as going on a diet, then we make a food diary. And what Moment does is it essentially just tracks what you're using, when, and for how long. And some of us use our smartphones for up to 150 times a day. We swipe them, but until we actually see that, it's very unlikely we'll make a change. Another really great app we recommend would be Freedom, which quite simply places boundaries around what technology, so what apps and what websites we're using on different devices at different times of the day. So it really just enables us to give people a bit more of a boundary around their work-life balance. So me, for example, during the day, I have quite limited access to social media, and then in the evening, all my work tools switch off. Now I can override that, but it's just a little bit harder for me to do, and by the time I've done that, I might not be as tempted. It's kind of taking the cookie jar slightly further away if it's a distraction.
Well, I think we all need to do that, but it's very, very difficult, personally as a sole trader and a small business, to do that. So, now, there are levels of service that you offer at UnPlug. What kind of service or levels would you have?
Predominantly we do corporate programs, so majority of work we do would be workshops and individual coaching into big companies. So we'd work with large, like the biggest management consultancy in the world, some big and small tech companies, but we also do individual coaching following on from that, so we have executives and senior leadership. And the key focus there is always on the output of high performance and focus, and really on helping people to improve productivity in the office. But then, as a secondary benefit, the well-being, so improving people's sleep, relationships. And then one day a month, we also work with schools. So we do schools and college workshops one day a month, trying to help people in those institutions.
So how do people find out about your services? Is there a website or a Facebook page? Or
There is, yeah. So all our social media is UnPlug HQ, so at UnPlug HQ on Facebook and Twitter. And then you can find us on the website at www.unplug.ie.
I have to say there is a certain irony that we can find you on social.
Of course there is, yes. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time, A, to come to the summit, and B, to speak to us today. Really enjoyed learning more about you.
Thank you. Thanks, Melanie. Cheers. Thank you.